Welcome to Alpha Marketing, your go-to resource for unlocking the full potential of your small to medium-sized business. Hosted by Aaron Shishilla, CEO of Wolfpack Advising. Now, let's learn how to dominate your market.
Hello and welcome to the Marketing Alpha Podcast. Today we have another great topic, which is ultimately why your Google Ads suck and what you need to do to fix it. So I've managed hundreds of Google Ads accounts. I've seen it all, and I understand essentially 5 things on why Google Ads suck and what you need to do to fix it. So I'm really excited to get in this particular podcast. This is my second time recording it because the first time the audio wasn't connected properly. So I've gotten some extra practice, and I'm ready to hit the ground running on all this. So let's be real with this. You're probably spending tons of money on Google Ads. You're probably not seeing a return on investment. You probably have no idea what's going on with it. You're probably talking to Google support reps, asking them, please fix this. It's wasting tons of money. Or you believe that Google Ads is a scam. And let me tell you, Google Ads is trying to take your money. Do I think it's a scam? I think that's up for debate. I think that it is a business, and they are trying to take as much money from you as possible. So I think that's worth considering. But I'm going to break down exactly 5 things that you need to do to fix it, and these top 5 mistakes that I see all the time, and then it's not going to be a scam. You're going to be making tons of money from it. So anyway, let's get into some harsh truths first. The first thing is most accounts lack very clear goals. They kind of don't understand what the goal of Google Ads is. You know, if you're probably thinking to yourself, the goal is to get more business, like, yeah, that's obvious. But we need to be a little bit more definitive about our goal because that's going to help us with our targeting, and that's going to help us with our tracking return on investment and evaluating performance. It's not enough to just say, I need more business. You also probably don't understand the cost per lead or the customer lifetime value or a lot of these individual metrics and benchmarks that we should be hitting, like your click-through rates, your landing page conversion rates, your sales close rate even. So that's another thing that we probably need to look at. The thing that I see so commonly is Google giving automated recommendations and probably calling you. So that's another thing is don't follow Google's automated recommendations and don't answer the phone. Please don't answer the phone. Another thing here as a harsh truth is you're probably not tracking the conversions or have wrong attribution set up or really no insight into conversions and how that all works. So ultimately, looking at a lot of these things, it's why it's not working, but let's get into more of the specifics. And this will kind of break down into how we actually fix it. So the first thing that I've already kind of hinted at is just blindly following Google's recommendations and answering Google's calls. Google has the recommendations tab within their platform. You're just better off at this point not listening to any of it. There's some of it that can be good, for sure. But majority of the time, you just want to dismiss it. There's even a feature within there for Google to auto-apply Google recommendations. Make sure you have that turned off. If it is not turned off, it's going to automatically apply all of its recommendations, and everything that we're going to talk about going forward is going to be ruined. So make sure you're not following Google's recommendations blindly. You should only apply it if you know what you're particularly doing. Then, in terms of Google's calls, because you're going to get phone calls from Google support reps saying that they can help you with the Google Ads. Just don't answer it. Don't answer their calls because they're not going to help you. Their goal ultimately is to get you to spend more money. And our goal together is to get you to maximize the return on investment. So you could spend more money with Google Ads, absolutely, but so you're also making more money in the end. So if you do those 2 things, then we could talk about the rest of the items that we need to do to fix your Google Ads account. The second thing is doing the wrong keywords and match types. So there's a really deep-rooted problem with their keywords and their match types, and Google has set this up and has changed it constantly over time. So it changes, but this is how it's set up right now. So broad match. It's not broad match. Broad match is like a slot machine. It's basically whatever Google thinks at that given time. Think about it that way, okay? Phrase match. Phrase match is not phrase match. Phrase match is broad match, all right? And then there's exact match. So exact match keywords are not exact match. Go figure. It's actually phrase. So as long as you go in with that particular understanding about setting your keywords and doing your targeting for Google search, you're in a really good place. All right. So now how do you set the right keywords and do your right targeting for this? There's a really simple trick that I give a lot of people when they're looking to run their own Google ads, but I also give this tip to a lot of our newer employees that are starting out and like want to take a stab at Google ads and want to get started within it. The first thing, if you're confused on any particular keyword and you're like, well, I don't know if this is going to be a good one to target or if this is something I need to add a negative keyword, which we'll talk about here in a second, just Google the keyword. If you Google the keyword and look at the organic results, the non-paid results, that'll tell you exactly what the user intent is because Google is trying to show results for the user's intent. So you'll know based on that particular information if it is within your target market or not, and if somebody is ready to make a purchase. 9 times out of 10 when people are setting up Google search ads too, especially in small business, they're trying to get more business, they're trying to get more leads, they're trying to get more sales. So usually we're looking at bottom of the funnel leads, meaning they're ready to make a conversion. They are ready to make a purchase. They are looking for a roofer, they are looking for a plumber, they're looking for a home inspector, whatever it is. So within that search and the organic results, we should see that. We should see plumbing companies, roofing companies, or whoever that particular item is. So when we're looking at this with our keywords and our targeting, and you're putting in different keywords, first Google it, check the organic results. Then you need to decide what match type you're going to go with. Google's going to recommend broad. Don't do that. That's a slot machine. Phrase can be good if you have a higher budget and you know what you're doing. Because I mentioned earlier, phrase is kind of like a broad, so it's going to pick up a lot of different other things. Phrase is supposed to be like anything within, the phrase. So if the keyword's roofing companies near me, it's supposed to be anything within that includes that phrase, roofing companies near me. But sometimes Google, what they say is it's synonyms or things that are related, right? So just keep that in mind. Phrase can be good if you know what you're doing and you have a higher budget. Most people are going to end up in exact match because that's going to be more of a phrase. Exact match is going to be higher cost, but you're going to get your targeting exactly right. All right. So that's going to be something super beneficial. Now, the next thing that we need to work on is once we have that targeting right, and you're actually running the ads, is you need to look at adding negative keywords. So there is a search term report. You're going to go to Insights, and then you're going to go to Search Terms. Look at that search term report. That's going to tell you not what everybody is searching, but what the majority of people are searching. It used to tell us, funny little side story, it used to tell us every single keyword people were searching for and what people were clicking on. So you could see what the most impressions you were showing for or the most clicks you were getting and what they were searching for. Now it doesn't do that. Now get this, Google tells you what they want to tell you. So they're only going to show you the keywords that they want to show you. That being said, it's supposedly the stuff that only matters. So just keep that in mind, but you're going to want to check this negative keyword list consistently, like every week, to make sure that you're looking for bad matches. And if you're not sure if it's a bad match or not, again, just Google it and look at the organic results. But essentially, you're going to look for that negative keyword, and then you're going to apply that negative keyword, you're going to look at the search term report, and you're going to apply it as a negative keyword. So that way you're going to say, hey, I don't want to show up for this particular keyword anymore. You may have to adjust your targeting as well because you might have the wrong targeting or keywords in place. So you may have to adjust, like remove a couple keywords in there that are pulling just too many negative keywords or the wrong keywords that you want to add in search terms. All right. So we covered 3 things. We covered blindly following Google's recommendations. Just don't follow them. Answering Google's calls. Just don't answer the phone. Wrong keywords and match types. Make sure you're Googling the keyword that you want to particularly target to see if it is in your target market or what you actually want to show for. And then set the right match type, whether it's broad, phrase, or exact. More than likely, it's going to be phrase or exact. Then you're going to add negative keywords based on the search terms report. So you refine your targeting a little bit further. Now, let's get into your landing page, which is another critical piece. Please do not send users to your homepage or to your website. That is a surefire way to not maximize your conversion rate. What we want to do here is maximize the conversion rate. So people click on the advertisement, right? And then they go to a page. We want to maximize our opportunity for us to get their particular information or for them to make a sale. So in order to do that, we need to remove all pieces that don't make sense here. So you don't need a footer. You don't need a header. We don't want any particular navigation. We're going to build a fake footer and a fake header. And the way that we do that is essentially we just make like a little row on our site that has our logo at the top. We have a call button, right? And that is a call tracking number that goes directly to our office or our sales team or whoever. And then we're going to have, right underneath that, our main hero section, where we're going to have a heading, a subheading, and maybe some certifications and trust badges, essentially Google reviews, things like that show our rating and how we're basically really good at what we do. And then on the right side of that, right next to that, we're going to have a form. That form is going to be for people that don't want to call, they can submit their information, name, email address, phone number, and maybe some comment box. That's really all that's needed there. And then you might include some specific information like property address if you do home services. So once you have those pieces, those are the most critical pieces. You can add more information when users scroll. So for example, when users scroll, they could see unique selling points. They could see about the service. They could see testimonials or case studies, things like that. And then finally at the footer, we're going to replace that with another call to action. So we're going to have our main call to action item like get a free estimate, the button, call now, whatever it is with that tracking number, and they call. Or if you would just want to put that as a get a free quote and it scrolls back to the top so that way they can see the phone number again as well as the form entry. And that's all they can do. I don't want them clicking around on your website or going anywhere else. And I just want it to be related to the actual advertisement itself. That's it. If you do that, you're going to maximize your conversion rate or be able to maximize your conversion rate because you're going to know what actually is wrong if somebody lands on the page and they don't convert. Now, the final thing is just the wrong campaign goal and no conversion tracking. So when you're setting up your Google Ads campaign, you need to know how you need to set up the campaign strategy. Most people, most small businesses, especially local home service businesses, are going to be around leads or sales. You may not be, depending on your particular industry, but that's generally what you're going to want to set. So if you're going to do leads or sales, you need to make sure you have conversion tracking. So they usually promote Google Tag or like G Tag, which can be done in order to track conversions, but sometimes it can be confusing for most people. So instead, sign up with something like CallRail or What Converts, or obviously Wolfpack has their own system as well. Essentially what that does is it uses call tracking numbers and form tracking to capture the lead data, send it to you, and then send all of those parameters in that particular data on who converted back to Google Ads. And Google Ads can then optimize and run its algorithm to find more people exactly like that, which is perfect. Exactly what we want. We want to send the right campaign strategy based on what our goal is. We want to capture all the conversion data and we want to send it back to Google so Google can re-optimize. If you don't have that, you're kind of running Google Ads blind. So you absolutely need that. These are like the main things that we need. I've covered quite a bit of information, but as long as you're doing these things, what you then can do is look at all of the benchmark data that I'm about to give you and understand at what point are things broken and where you need to fix it. So as long as you're doing all these other things, we can look at the benchmark data, which will be available to us, and we can understand what part is wrong that we can fix. All right, so let's break down how to actually fix things once we have that stuff set up. Obviously, stop answering Google's calls. That's easy. Never apply a recommendation that Google suggests. That's easy. Now, using the right match types for what you're aiming for and what that particularly means. Really what we're breaking down here is your click-through rate. This is how often people are clicking on your ad once they see it. So if you had 100 impressions and 10 clicks, that means 10 people clicked on it. Of the 100 people that saw it, it's a click-through rate of 10%, right? Our click-through rate, we're aiming to be at least 5%. So 5 out of 100 impressions, which is considered good. Anything below that, I'm going to say is below what Wolfpack would hit. Wolfpack consistently hits above a 5% click-through rate. The average is about a 2% click-through rate. So we don't want 2%. That's average. We're not average. We're going to shoot above that. We're going to hit Wolfpack numbers, which is above 5%. So I want you hitting 5% click-through rate. If your click-through rate on your reports in your Google Ads campaign or account is not 5%, then you know something is wrong with your targeting or your actual ad copy. Whether the targeting is the wrong people or the ad copy is not enticing enough to get them to click. So you know it's one of those two particular things. Now, a lot of times what this comes down to is adding negative keywords or updating your keywords in your strategy. Maybe you need to go to exact match and you are on phrase, or maybe this means you need to change up some headlines, some descriptions in order to get them to click on the ad a little bit more. Once they click on the ad, though, that's the first benchmark down. That's the first critical piece. We're targeting the right people, the right time with good copy. If our click-through rate's above 5%, we know we're good there. The next step is to get that click from the landing page over to our team. So in order to do that, the landing page conversion rate should be Wolfpack numbers, again, these are just Wolfpack numbers, 10% or more. It's very high. Average landing page conversion rate could be like 2 to 5%. And if you're below 2%, that's pretty low. So let's aim for Wolfpack numbers, which is 10% or higher on a particular landing page. And going back to the drawing board on this, if you're not hitting above 10%, look at the performance on mobile. See what it looks like on mobile. Do you have your trust badges right? Does it look clean, professional, modern? Does it show fast? All of those things. And even consider going back to the targeting. Is your targeting right? Is the messaging in the headlines and the subheadings the same kind of messaging you're putting in the ad copy? All of those pieces need to particularly connect when you're building this campaign strategy and thinking about these particular metrics. Because if you're hitting at the 10%, then you know it's really resonating with them all along the way, which is perfect and exactly what we're looking for. So now they actually convert from the landing page. You're getting that 10% conversion rate. Now that's going over to your office. Your office needs to have a sales close rate in most industries at least 30% or higher. Wolfpack numbers, they need to hit for like team members that are working with us or companies that are working with us. They need to hit 30, 33%, one of those two usually, to hit minimum return on investments. If they spend $1,000 on Google ads and they quoted $10,000 worth of jobs, I know that they're not getting a good return on investment if their conversion rate or their sales close rate is below 30 or 33%. If those are the things, they're usually missing calls or their sales team isn't trained enough in order to make the conversions. So really, when we're starting to look at accounts, we look at that and start working backwards into what could be wrong. Now, obviously, all along the way, we're making optimizations to keyword targeting, as you should be too. But that's how you start working backwards in terms of return on investment, is being able to track, okay, what are all the leads that I received? What was my close rate on those leads? If my close rate wasn't that 30, 33% or higher, and keep in mind, those are the minimum numbers, then you know that there's something wrong with the close rate there, or working backwards to the landing page, and then of course the CTR, click-through rate, and ad copy that we kind of talked about. All right. When you do all of those things, this paints a perfect picture and tells exactly you're feeding Google back the information it needs in order to further optimize and get better conversion data for you. You're tracking everything. You're looking at your click-through rate. You're looking at your landing page conversion rate. You're looking at your sales close rate. You're adding negative keywords. You're targeting and your keyword matching is right. You're not listening to Google recommendations, and you're not answering Google's calls. Based on all of that, your Google ad campaigns are going to be on a really healthy track. So just make sure you're monitoring those particular benchmarks every single week, or at least checking them once a month. Now, to kind of close, if your Google ads are underperforming in this, I know I'm probably coming in here pretty direct and harsh, but the ultimate thing is you don't need to give up. You just need to get a little bit more strategic with it and kind of think things through first before we make some type of actions. This stuff can really work, and I promise you it really can. I know when I was first starting out, I felt like it was a scam. I felt like it could never work. But it really can. You just have to be strategic and smart about your moves that you're making. You kind of have to think like a consumer and not trust Google ads, even Meta ads or other platforms, because they're trying to get as much money from you as possible as an advertiser, right? That is the particular goal. So look at all these particular metrics that I talked about, these particular 5 key items. And once you fix those, you're going to be well on your way to outperforming the competition in the advertising space. Anyway, if you have any other questions, comments for me, want to take another listen to another podcast, I'm interested in hearing your feedback and everything else. So leave a comment wherever you're listening to this, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, or whatever else. And I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you for listening to Alpha Marketing. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other business owners and marketers. Your support enables us to continue bringing you actionable advice and the tools you need to thrive. Join us next time for more insights with Aaron Shishilla, and keep striving to be the alpha in your market.